And so it is my pleasure today to introduce our guest speaker. David Matthew Brown was here 4 or 5 weeks ago. Many of you might have been here and heard him. And he is back by popular demand. We had a big request for that. We asked him to come back, and he was kind of crazy enough to say yes. So here he is again today. David was trained as a practitioner at the Agape Center. He is an author, he's a speaker, and he is a yogi. And I guess was crazy enough to do 90 days in the heat, in the hot yoga. So anyway, please put your hands together. Give a big, warm Westlake welcome for our speaker today, David Matthew Brown.
So a kindergarten teacher had asked her class to show up and talk about what faith they're part of and bring some sort of an object to share in class for sharing time. So the very next day when class started, the first person stood up. Her name was Beth, and she said, "My family is Jewish. I brought the Star of David." The next person stood up was Mark. He said, "My family is Catholic. I brought the Rosary." And finally, Tommy stood up and said, "Hi, I'm Tommy. My family is Baptist, and I brought a casserole." So around 2000, I was at Century City Mall with my then girlfriend at the time, and I was meeting her there. And Century City Mall used to have a food court on the first floor. Now I think it's on the third floor. So we would meet there for lunch, and I met her there, and we always sat at this one space. And she was sitting there while I was waiting to get our food, and she came in, and she said, 4 businessmen told me that I should move because there's 4 of them, and this is a table for 4. So I said, okay, well, I'm sure there's a place for 2. And during lunch, it's really packed there. She found a nice place for 2. I got our salads. I brought it to the table, and we were talking, and I was listening to her talk, and I was eating a chicken Caesar salad at the time. And as I was eating that salad and listening to Amanda talk, I noticed that a bone was moving down my throat that was in the salad. And it got lodged in the middle of my throat and wouldn't move. And so I tried to get it down my throat, and it wasn't working. And then I tried to be cool about it and try to breathe through what was happening, and that was not working because I was losing my breath. So I turned to her, and I gave her the symbol that I'm choking, and she ran across from where she was, and I heard her behind me, and everything was, I was losing my hearing, and she was trying to give me the Heimlich, and the last thing I heard her say was, "I'm not strong enough, I need help." And just as she said that, my eyes started to close. And at the time, I was filled with anxiety. I'm getting chills. At the time, I was filled with anxiety and worry and doubts and concern. Why? Because I was a working actor. No, I was just a human being, and I had no practice, no spiritual practice. I was brought up in the Catholic faith. I had left the Catholic faith, and I moved on to Buddha, and then I studied Zen meditation for a lot of years. I left that and was kind of in this midpoint, middle ground in my life. I was reading books by Wayne Dyer and Deepak, but I had no home to go to. And so here I was with my eyes closed, and all that noise that was inside of my mind was leaving quickly. And I was in a state of quietness. And the last voice that I heard myself say to myself, which was rather surprising, is, "I'm ready to go." Which shocked me even when I was in the experience, because I had so much anxiety. I had never felt this much silence in my life. And there I was in this experience. It was just this infinite, vast, the only word I could say is peace that I was in. A peace I had never felt, that I had been reading about through Wayne Dyer and Deepak Chopra and other authors. There I was, in peace, in it. No body, no physical body anymore, just this vast, infinite peace. And as I was in this peace, I felt movement here, and I was partly not, I wasn't even in my body yet. And then once the movement happened and came up, it felt slowly like I was coming back into this body, and then whoop, I was in it, and it came out, and I opened my eyes, and my eyes were watering, and there were people all over the place. Some people were crying, some people were praying, some people had completely given up on me. Some people were comforting my girlfriend who was a wreck. She was crying her eyes out. And I was there, and I turned to the gentleman that gave me the Heimlich, and I thanked him. And the fire department came, and they sat me down, and they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I was ready to go." And the guy was like, No, your throat. Is your throat okay?" And I said, I was ready to go. And he's like, great, but how's your throat? Does it hurt? And I was just so happy I was ready to go. It was like a huge epiphany in my life. I didn't even know I was ready to go. But yet there I was. Now here's the trippy part. They talked to me, the fire department, and I go to look at the guy that helped me, and he was in a dead sprint, running that way. And he ran behind the building, and I never saw him again. So I would like to think that was my guardian angel that was just like, oh boy, really? I got to come back in physical form and help you out now? Great. This is just great. Nice work. Nicely done. Please watch what you eat next time, right? So as we were walking to the hospital, which happened to just be down the street, my girlfriend told me how blessed I was. And she said if that man didn't help me, there was a long list of people in line that were ready to be the next person up. And people came up to me, I got chills. And some people came up to me and they gave me big hugs. Grandmother gave me a hug, and she said, "I thought I lost you." She's not even my grandma. I was like, oh, okay, but I was ready to go, right? So here I was in an experience. I went from noise to peace. And I did not realize how much I loved the noise, how much I was comfortable in anxiety and fear and doubt and confusion, and how much I loved that noise, and now everything was quiet in me. And I had nothing within me at that time to relate to that. I had no people in my life, friends or family, that I could talk to that could understand that I was in peace. So I was literally like a young child learning for the first time, trying to figure out how I can maintain this peace that I went from, it felt like 0 to 60. I went from noise to quiet. And it was no longer words. Like most of the time when we come to this type of community or any type of community, we hear about being thankful, but most of the time people use Thanksgiving as a way of getting something. So it's not real true gratitude. Most people, whether they recognize it or not, think that if I'm grateful enough, then more stuff will come in. Yeah, in the universal law, the more that you're grateful for things, they will come in. But it's an authentic, heartfelt gratitude. A place where you don't want anymore, you just are grateful for what you have. So here I was for the next week. I had no desire. Here I am in Hollywood, and all my friends are actors, and they're all like, I want to win an Oscar, I want to do this, I got to do that. And I'm like, it's okay. Right here is okay. Getting that Oscar is not going to make you any more than what you already are. Winning that trophy is not going to make you any more popular, and if it does, great, then that might not be the best people for you. If you need people that when you win awards, they want to hang out with you. And so here I am in this space. And I also had a job once a week where I worked at this ticket office at the Coronet Theater just so I could see free theater, because I had just moved up to LA. And people would come with problems, and I would just sit there and listen, and it would resolve itself. and I wasn't doing anything. And we just sang a song about use me. And yet, in this state of peace, I began to get curious about this quietude, and I couldn't identify with it because all my identifiers were, oh, I'm this, or I'm that, or this is who I am, like trying to figure out things and try to identify myself with people, to just try to relate. And now here I am in a sense of peace all of a sudden, and I have no identifier. And because of that experience, when I look back on it, how great that those businessmen came and moved my girlfriend at the time to another location, because where she found that space, if it didn't happen there, I wouldn't be here with you right now. And it's difficult to explain to people, but for the next 12 years, I wouldn't be able to experience having my daughter, who's with us today. I wouldn't have been experienced to go through and get married and then go through a divorce. That's fun, right? Those are good adventures. But I wouldn't get to speak and travel and be in New Zealand and get my back tattooed by the Maori and speak in Canada and travel all over America. I did. I've spoken in Canada. There she is, the truth sayer. So I wouldn't have had all those experiences if I didn't and wasn't brought back by whoever that gentleman was who gave me that life. Who gave me, in fact, not only my life back, but a life of peace. And so it opens up the question right now for all of us is, what in your life is disturbing your peace? What are you allowing to disturb your peace? Right now, there's something that you're allowing to disturb your peace that has nothing to do with you. We live in a society that is geared towards problem creating. We create problems where there are no problems. And if there isn't a problem, we create another problem. Because we love the noise. We love the TV. We love the movies. We love the radio. We love noise. In fact, there should be a club called, "Hello, my name is David and I'm addicted to noise." And we all show up and we talk about all the noise that we love. And yet we are brought here on Sundays to affirm truth, to affirm peace. Something that is already here. It has never gone anywhere. Yet we struggle with the noise every single day. And we try to make it something. The brain wants to put meaning on it. Well, this is what it is, or this is what it is, or this is who they are, or this is who you are. And yet none of it, in my experience, when I was in that experience, was real. It all just went away. And so we are here in our practice to be where we are now and to know that right where we are is safe. So when we look at that quote for the month and we sit with the quote that I was sent and we begin to sit with that, how do you move in your life from that place of openness, from a place of vulnerability, from a place of aliveness? Because right where you are is amazing. And amazing to the mind means, right? It's got to look this way. And then all these people are watching me. I'm amazing. Right? To that small part of us. And yet we are called to understand and be with and process that right where you are is alive. That you have organs that are tuned up to God. That's why we call them organs. We give them names like liver and heart and small intestine and all kinds of things. But they are tuned to something higher. We call it a body temple because it is your temple. It is your center. It is your place of worship. We call the heart the altar of the soul because it alters what you're seeing. When you bring it to your heart, it alters what you're hearing. When you listen from your heart, you're listening because those same letters in listen mean silent. I just finished at a camp with some kids, and I said there's 3 rules to this camp. Listen, listen, listen. I said because when you listen deeply, you'll know when to talk. If you're always talking, you're not listening. But if you can listen deeply, then deep wisdom, God is using you. And your very presence can shift anybody in front of you. Your friend may be going through a trauma, maybe going through bereavement support, maybe going through a broken relationship, a lost job, maybe moving through something like it's like their own personal birth. And we want to get involved and go, here's some wisdom I read from Wayne Dyer. And completely negate what they're going through. Right now, men in the world are learning this simple message. Tell me more. Tell me more. When a woman is speaking, tell me more. I want to know more about what you're moving through, what you're experiencing right now. I want to know more about your day. I want to know who you are. I want to learn. I want to grow. I want to blossom. We live in a society geared towards a cell phone, which is C-E-L-L, cell. It's a prison. And we're all stuck in it. My daughter's showing me my cell phone. So we're in that prison and we're learning how to get our way out of it. And we come to these communities. A community means to commune. Where are you communing from? Are you communing from your mind or are you communing from your heart? Because from our hearts, we create breathtaking pieces of art called us. We were born empowered. When you came out of your mom's womb, you were empowered. And a bunch of giants were around you and they said, actually, no. This is how life is. And we just went, oh, well, this is interesting. I'll try this experiment for a little bit. And then I'll come back to religious science and unity and all these other places and get myself back together again. Because you are whole right where you are. Whole. Nothing's missing. We're not asking for peace, P-I-E-C-E, like a piece of pie. We're asking for peace, peace of mind. And to me, that is wealthy. If you can find peace within yourself, you're rich. See, the trick, if there is a trick about what we do here, is we're not here to constantly think about the problem. We're here to stop thinking about the problem and the answer appears. By thinking about the problem, you forget that you're the answer and you're the solution, the solution to the problem that you created. So most people go around and they create the problem and they try to figure it out and then they feel really good because in school that's what you learned how to do. Create problems so you can have the answer and then you can feel good about yourself and tell all your friends how amazing you are. But what we're learning here is since love is all that there is no problem. So even when a problem seems to appear in your life, you don't have to think about it. You go right into affirmative prayer. And then you let it resolve itself. It will show itself forward. You could be in a business meeting. Everybody could be fighting. And your mind goes, that's a problem. And the heart goes, it's perfect. Let's just keep breathing with this. The right solution is coming forward. I don't know what it is. I have no idea what's going to happen right now, but I do know this. I do know that I'm walking and loving and moving in peace, and I do know that peace is who I am, and peace is where I was brought from, and when I actually die in peace, I'm going to change my life to living in peace. Live in peace. Live in peace. If you want a simple practice, and you're moving through a transition right now, you can use the same tool they use in childbirth. Breathe. Listen to your breath right now. Just listen to your breath. Every religion and spiritual practice gives it a name. They call it the Holy Spirit. They call it the Holy Breath. They call it Ruha. Huh, that's interesting. So you have a friend with you all the time. And that friend is breathing you. And every time you're breathing, notice when you think. And you'll know when you think because your breath will stop. Every time you think, your breath stops. You get in the way of the flow of the river of life. And then you could take that and become aware of the mind. Oh, wow. There is a science to this mind. Huh. And as you sit with your breath, you can begin to sit with the breath going through your nostrils and sense how cool the breath is, right? And then when you release your breath through your nostrils, how warm it is. That's curious. Life is coming to cool you down and then rid you of all the hotness that you're holding on to. The anger, the frustration, the doubts, the confusion. So as you're moving through your transition, and you may be feeling scared, and you know what? That's okay. In fact, that's awesome because it means that you have no idea what to do. And if you were to tell yourself right now, I don't have all the answers, I don't know what to do, I guarantee you your whole body would just go, oh, thank goodness. Because most people just want to spend their lives controlling. Oh, I know what to do. I have all the answers. I get it. I know what I'm doing. It's good. Right? And so in that state of peace, you have no idea what's going to happen. And you fall in love with the unknown, and you begin to fall in love with your breath, and you fall in love with life, and you fall in love with people, and you fall in love with wherever you are. And yes, it comes and goes sometimes. Sometimes you think you want this job, it's not, so you transition on to something else. Sometimes you think you want this relationship and you transition to something else. Sometimes you think this is good for you and you transition to something else. And I guarantee you where you're transitioning is going to be much bigger than where you are now. But we've been taught to be scared of that. We've been taught to be spiritual. I'm spiritual. This is what I do. I'm a spiritual person. And then nobody smiles and laughs because they don't realize that humor is the highest form of love. We call it joy. You forget to laugh. You forget to look how funny life can be sometimes. You think you got it all right the moment you think you got it. You don't have it. So we are here collectively this month to know that right where you are, if right now in your life you are transitioning from one place to another, or you're experiencing a loss in your life, whatever that loss is, friend, family, job, relationship, doesn't matter, that you have the capability to handle it. And start off simple by breathing, just following your breath. Following that breath as it moves into your nostrils and down your body and back out again. Because you never know when it's going to be taken away. Just like when I was having a chicken Caesar salad at Century City Mall, completely worried about nonsense. And in one fell swoop, I was ready to go. So we have no idea. Right now, you have no idea what's going to happen when you leave this place. You think you do. I'm going to go have lunch with friends, and then after that, I'm going to go do this, and then I've got this. And I'm going to go to bed at night and wake up, and I've got work, and then I've got work all week, and I'm like, oh, I got all this stuff at work I got to handle, and then I got to do this, and I go to the store, and then once I go to the store, I got to get milk, and I forget to get milk, and I get cookies. I shouldn't have cookies because they're not good for me, so I don't have sugar. Then I go, I get apples, but I don't like apples. I like grapes, I like cantaloupe, and then before you know, it's like, it's Friday, and you're like, I don't know what happened to the week. It's so busy. My life is so busy, and everything's so crazy, and I'm crazy, and I don't know what's going on. And, oh, I didn't call so-and-so, and why didn't I call them? Gosh, why do I do that to myself? I got to go to church on Sunday and really sit there and listen to the Reverend's speech. Gosh, I can't make it because I got to go get breakfast, and then once I get breakfast, I mean, who knows? I got to work out sometime. Someone's got to work out, right? Then I got to work out, and then you're 90. Right? And all the things that you thought you were going to do, you didn't do, and your family and friends are like, they had so many plans. They didn't do any of them. It's crazy. But we love them. They're perfect people. They're really good. It's great. Yeah. See how caught up we get? How easy it is? Mind comes in there. Steals your life away. Don't let your life be stolen by your own mind. Jesus had to fight with it for 40 days and 40 nights. We have all kinds of mystics that tell us the same thing, all is well. All is well. So if you find yourself getting caught up, I can let you in on a little secret. You could try this mantra. Here's some noise, and I'm okay. Here's some noise, and I'm okay. So this should only take one more minute before we go into prayer. Stand up really quick. I know some centers don't like this, but I'm going to do it. I want you to turn to the person next to you, maybe 3 people, and say to them this simple mantra: I love you because I love myself. And give them a heart hug. Give them a heart hug, please. And then once you do that, you can sit down. I love you because I love myself. That will give the band a good time to start to get prepared. I love you because I love myself. And as those of you that are sitting down, I just want you to feel the energy in the room right now. As you sit down in your chair, I want you to just feel the energy, what it feels like when we're touching another human being. Feel the energy lift up? You should be hugging 7 people a day. It's good for your health. It really is. 7 people a day you should be hugging. That should be your goal for today. So you have what? Maybe 4 left? You got a good, finish this day off great. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for having me back. I appreciate this community, and God bless you all.